All right. See, I'm a little bit more spontaneous than most. I don't come up here with an idea of what I'm going to say. I like to be completely natural. If I'm nervous or whatever state that I'm in, I'm going to take that state and I'm going to move with it. So I want to ask you guys, what do you guys want to talk about? I know you guys know that I'm very good at astral projection and lucid dreaming, but I can also talk about other spiritual things. And if you just want me to rant and rave, I can definitely do that. Anybody have any ideas?
Spirit communication.
Spirit communication. Okay, perfect. Spirit communication. I remember when I just got into spiritualism, I came to Norwich. I went to the spiritualist church. I was doing some meditation, and communication just happened for me. I was very blessed in this way. I was doing a lot of meditation, and in my meditations I would get touches, pulls, and little whispers, and I was like, hey, what's going on? Am I losing my mind? I'm too young for this. Like, there's have to be something a little bit more for from what I think is going on and from what's actually taking place here. So I go to the church, and of course they have their developmental classes. So somebody asked me to take place in one of these classes, so I said, okay, I'll give it a shot. Fortunately, nobody came except for me. So I had all Jackie's time, and we start going at it, and I was just telling her whatever I felt in that moment, because she gave me an object. And she said, tell me who it came from. Tell me anything about it. And I start going, and I'm thinking that, okay, this is just, she just let me talk. She's let me have my fun. And then she's gonna probably laugh in my face and say, oh, no, you're way over. So we start going through the exercise, and I told her that, oh, I see the forest. I see forest. And she was like, oh, okay. Really not like giving me any confidence at all. You know, she just, oh, okay, okay. Like, yeah, she was like, what does this place feel like? I said, it feels like the South. Oh, okay. All right, well, let me just keep on going. Then she was like, can you describe a person? Then I just start describing this lady that I see in my vision. She said, no, okay. So then, after the process was over, she was like, well, you described this store where I got this this piece of jewelry, and you described the lady who had it before me. And I described the dress that she was wearing, and she was saying that this lady got married just before she gave away this item. So I was blown away. I was like, wow, that was pretty spot on. And then on top of that, I said a name. But, like, you know, going back into logic, I hear one name, I said, maybe it's this name. Very similar, but the first name that I thought was correct. Right on, right on. And I was like, wow, I really gotta dive into this. So, at this time, I'm sure you guys remember when I came here, I didn't have a job at this point in my life. So I had a lot of time to just sit there and meditate. So I would start to meditate, and of course, you want to talk to your relatives first. And I would try to bring up my grandmother and my grandfather, and start communicating with them. And there was one point that I was sitting with my dad on the couch, and he was saying some things about his father, and I was just getting this overwhelming urge of emotion. And then I started talking to him, telling him things that only him and his dad knew, like words that only him and his dad should have shared, but they couldn't get past their emotions at the time. So I was used as a medium at that point. And my dad was blown away. He was like, hey, what are you doing? 'Cause of course he wasn't into this at all. So he's like, well, what are you doing? How do you know that? I was like, tell you the truth, I'm not sure. But this is what's taking place. I think, for me, myself, that the more that you meditate, the more that you can clear the mind, more you can get focused, more you can raise your vibration, more that you can get seen by what you want to be seen by. It's all to do with the laws of attraction. It's like whatever you want, whatever you're trying to do, spiritual or non-spiritual, everything is spiritual anyway. But if you become clear and your attentions are focused in one area, that thing is going to happen. And my only attention was spirituality in its fullest. So I experienced everything from astral projection, out-of-body experiences, lucid dreams, seeing entities, feeling entities, talking to entities, anything that you can think of that I could think of. But anyway, so being focused on communicating with the other side would make it a lot easier. But I know that when we're out there in the day-to-day rut, we get pulled so far the other way, and then we got drama at the house, or we're just getting stressed out because our boss is on our back, or whatever it may be. But then we come back to meditation would help relieve that. And when you have that clarity, you would recognize, wow, everything's right here, right now. Like, they're always talking. They're always trying to interact. So when you can calm down, you can hear it. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. That's all it takes. I know it's like a little too easy. You want like a hard route, but that's all it is. You know. See, and when I first started, I really want to talk to my guides. That's the only people that I want to talk to. I wasn't interested in anything else. Because I've always heard stories about people's guides coming and setting them on the right path where they felt like they needed to be or wanted to be. So that's where my main focus was. So I started to talk to what I felt was my guide at the moment. And my guides told me many things. One of the things was what I just told you guys, just clearing your mind and getting away from everything else that we feel that's important, that actually has nothing to do with us. Even our personality, even the way that I move and the words that I choose to use have nothing really to do with me at all. It's just coming up in this world, we get pushed along with other people's ideas, and we get thrown into these groups, and we feel that this group or that group is most correct. In all actuality, it means nothing. You know, like, we come here with an intention. Like, the biggest thing is to find what that intention is or was. And my guides helped me clarify that for myself. So if you listen, or you just stay in the moment, like right now, like, that's why I didn't have anything to say, because I always have something to say. I didn't have an idea, because if I grabbed an idea, it wasn't gonna be mine. But I know if I would have just stood here and started to open up my mouth, the true me would come out no matter what I choose. Because if you just stay in the moment, when you're in the moment, spirit will take hold of you and do its thing. That's all it's about, being in the moment sometimes. Not all the time. You don't want to be out there all in the sky. But sometimes you gotta relax and just get into the moment, and you can have these beautiful experiences that we want to have. I want to ask, anybody here, have any kind of contact before, or think that they had contact, or is there any ways that they think they can make some adjustments, or don't be afraid. I mean, I'm up here with myself. You guys are sitting down. Anybody? Nobody?
I think we all have.
Yeah.
Is there any things that you're trying to get past, that you feel that you need to get past to make it more clear?
Yeah, I can't get anything out of them. I see them, but I don't get anything out of them.
Do you ever have situations that you knew this was going to happen, or that it's such a coincidence, or you just happen to be in the right place?
I don't think that anymore. I think I did a long time ago, but I don't think that anymore. I think they know exactly where I am.
Yeah.
And exactly when I'm going to have my eyes open or closed or what have you, because that's usually when I see them is at night.
Okay. Yeah, because situations like that, when you just fall into something that, wow, what a coincidence. Wow, how did I know that? Or I just had a dream about that. What? Wow, that's just insane. That's when you're being communicated to. That's when you're clear. Like, a lot of people give it different names, and it's so complex, but it's so simple at the same time. It's like, let me say it like this. Some people think that the Trinity is, this is what it is. It's the mind, the subconscious, and the unconscious. And one conceives, one perceives, and one receives. But the unconscious mind is the one that's connected to the higher self. And through the other minds, that's where you need to be clear, because information is getting filtered, then it's getting filtered again. Then when it comes to the conscious mind, it has to go through the filter of the ego and the personality, which is huge, because whatever you experience through your life, you're going to try to take whatever information that you got and mold it towards your life. And usually it has nothing to do with the information that is given to you. And that's what we have to get by. That's the easiest, that's a route to communication. And there's other ways. There's definitely easier ways to set up that type of energy. Like, say if you had a specific person that you want to bring and have communication with. If you have a picture, that's a lot of energy right there. You can make like sort of a shrine at your house. You can put some candles, and you can build up energy around that shrine, and always tell that person that you love them and you want that communication. And that power is just it's gonna gather up there, and it's gonna get very, very strong. So every time you come back to this place, that intention is gonna be so powerful. It's gonna be a lot easier for you to make contact. So, with communication, you just have to be clear. That's the bottom line. On communication, you just have to be clear in the mind. You have to allow it to happen. Like, human beings don't understand that. Like, you just have to allow things to happen. It's not like anything is out of your grasp. Anything that you can think of, any kind of image that you can have in your head is not out of your grasp at all, unless if you tell yourself that it's out of your grasp. That's the only way that it could be. Because you make your own reality. Okay. I want to move on. Like this world that we choose to come into, we have to own it. Like we have to take responsibility of our feelings at that moment, whenever that moment was, to come back here and find out why. Why do you feel that you're here? I know you're not here to go to work, right? You're not here for some guy to be telling you what to do, or some lady to be telling you what to do and to be stressing you out, and for you to be catching diseases because you're stressed out, and to be eating this food that has poison in it, and just turn around knowing that it has poison in it and eating it again. I know everybody here loves each other because it's just natural. Even the worst person loves somebody. So, if you bring it down to a single point, everybody wants to help somebody. Who is it? Who knows? What way do you want to help? You have to figure that out. When you get closer to what you love to do, not what you like to do, or what somebody else says that is, oh, it's a great profession and it'll give you a lot of money. If you get closer to what you like, what you love, you feel a lot different about yourself. It's not about these words that we create like power and authority, because that's all imaginary. It's all about self-empowerment, even though I'm still using the word power, but it's all about raising your vibration to the point that you are closer to your natural self. The closer you get to your natural self, you will start to feel completely different, and you will see this world in a different way. And you will be able to affect things on the spot. I want to tell you guys a couple of stories. I was so overwhelmed with the law of attraction. You know, it's a beautiful science. And when I first heard about it, that's all that I wanted to do. Like, I get obsessive, if you can't hear it already. like I learn new things, and that's all I want to do at that second. So I'm at work and I'm excited. I'm just excited for no reason. I come in with this big, huge smile, and when I greet people, it's nice and loud. Then I'm always just finding something to be happy about when I was at work. And when we just had some time, I would just start to talk to people and tell them about this, no matter how they felt about it. And I was like, oh yeah, it's true. Believe me, these things happen to me. And they was like, yeah, right. Sounds like some magic or something that you can find in a book or something like that. I was like, no, I'm telling you, these things happen to me. Then it came from me imagining like small things, like just a car. I haven't had a car for a while at that point. There's a lot of things holding me back from getting that car. Like, so all I did was just think about a car. Every single day I thought about a car. I didn't limit it. I didn't say I want this kind of car. I just thought about a car. Every time I went home, I got on the computer and I looked up cars. I didn't even have the money yet. Didn't have nowhere near the money. I just kept on going and going and going and going. And I had a price. I said it was unrealistic, but I made it work. I said, I only want to spend $1,000 for a car. You tell people that, they'll look at you like you got 3 heads. I said, I'm only going to spend $1,000 for a car. That's how I feel. So I kept on looking and looking and looking and looking. And of course, I didn't find anything for $1,000. But one day, I think within a couple of minutes, I got online. This car just popped up. I was like, wow, I'm going to call him. I'm going to be the first person to call him. I'm going to get this car right now. And it was $900. I was like, wow. I was like, wow. So I called him, and the guy was a nice guy, and I said, okay, I want the car. He was like, you didn't look at it yet. I was like, I'm coming right now. Where are you? He said, I'm in Groton. I was like, okay, I'll be right there. So I went down there. So, of course, I had the $900. But I said, hey, I got $800. Do you want the $800? He was like, yeah, just give me the $800. So I left out of there with a car for $800. And I didn't even think it was possible to get a car for $1,000. And it was beautiful. Like, there was nothing wrong with it at all. I could have went to a dealership and they would have charged me probably $2,500. And that's just one of the smallest things. But let me go to something that was just... Has anybody here have just like an odd situation that every time you did a certain something, you had a certain effect that was just out of this world? I'm sure everybody had it at least one time, but did you notice it? I know that at one point I was so focused on just generating a little bit more cash that every time I did Reiki, the person that I did Reiki on, they found money. I was like, wow, is my vibration so much towards money that when I do Reiki on people, they find money? That was crazy. I was like, no, okay, calm down, David. No, because I'm going to start doing Reiki on myself. I did Reiki on my wife. We was,
camping.
Yeah, we was camping at some park. I did Reiki on her. She went to the bathroom and she found how much?
$50 on the floor.
$50. So I was like, okay, this is a coincidence. It has nothing to do with me. I had to keep on telling myself that. It had nothing to do with me. Like, no, I can't. Because if I start thinking that way, it's like, okay. Then there was a friend. His name was Ty. And I was like so in, I just say flow. So in the flow, I asked people to start asking me to have something happen for people. Just like that. Because I knew that the law of attraction is so much more powerful when you have another mind. But I didn't tell him exactly how it was working. But I said it's not from me. But you may think that it is. So he asked me one thing. He said, okay, have Ty get a new girlfriend. I was like, oh, okay. That's all right. That's workable, you know? So, I think it was that same day I went and I talked to Ty. And I said, hey, listen, I need you to do something for me. All I need you to do is be aware that something's going to happen for you. Something that you want to happen for you. It's going to happen for you. And I said, 2 weeks, I need you to go outside more than you normally go outside. Because that's the only thing that's the only way it's going to be available. So I started seeing visions of this girl, and so I described that a day later, because I didn't want to tell him at that time. Then I left. He called me later. He said, hey Dave, how you doing? I said, I'm doing all right. Why you ask? Did you drop some money? No, I didn't drop no money. me. He's like, because when you left, there was $20 on the floor. I'm like, hold on, maybe I did drop some money. But he found money also. It's like, wow, this is coming. Like, beginning to be a pattern. Like, every time I'm projecting some type of energy, there's money popping up. So, I'm back at work. I'm talking to this lady, and I'm telling her about the law of attraction also. And for some reason, I wanted to give her a healing. But this time, I say, hey, listen, this is what's been happening for people. Like, I've been healing people, and they've been finding money. So, if some money pops up, then that's probably where it's from. She's like, okay. All right. She's probably thinking I'm the weirdest guy she ever met at this point. But I started giving her a healing. Then we left that section that we was at where we was working. My friend comes by, goes to the same exact spot we were at. He finds $20. But this guy was a little bit shaky, so he's looking around. He was like, then he came up later, hey Dave, I don't want to say anything, but don't tell anybody, but did you drop some money? I was like, oh my God. I was like, where'd you find it? Where'd you find it? He said, right here, the same exact spot we were standing at. That's incredible. And I told her too, I was like, hey, you lost your money. I told you it was gonna pop up. But that's the law of attraction. That's the law of the universe. The things that we think about the most, as long as we're clear on it, it can become possible. There isn't nothing that is impossible. But I can't say that sometimes we are affected by our peers because we have a collective consciousness. And if the majority of people think one thing is true, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to combat that than just to say, to take an isolated thought and make that a reality. So, living in this day and age, as we look in, I didn't really want to come into this conversation, but I did, because it was there. As we look at the world today, opposed to how it was when our ancestors were here, it's extremely different. Like, when our ancestors were here, they had to learn certain things when they grew up. The things that we are here for right now is what they learned when they was children. They learned about the spirit. They didn't know about depression. They didn't know about negativity. Even here at this day and time, the Mayans, they said in their culture, they don't know what depression is. They have to be explained what depression is. They don't know what bad feelings are. Isn't that a blessing? They just don't know of it because it's not natural. As much as we're told that it's in us to be depressed or it's in us to be violent, this is not true. They say that we're animals, but we're far from. Of course, we have similarities because we're on the same planet. And of course, they are from spirit also. But we are far from animals. But if you look at this world today, and I think that it's more of an individual thing. We can say that it's a massive thing, that it's just the collective and they just have evil thoughts, and they don't know about what we preach here, the love, spirit, and the law of attraction. But then it's when we come home, how do we feel? Like, truthfully. Then you turn on the TV, you can get a reflection of yourself. So I always preach that you have to start with yourself. You have to heal yourself. How we was talking about earlier, you have to get clear in the mind. Like, who cares what other people think? Because whatever they think is good for them. Who cares what people feel about you? That's none of your business. It has nothing to do with you. It's none of your business. It's their business, and let it be their business. You know, because if we feed into that negativity, into that dog-eat-dog world, it becomes more of a reality because we confirm it every day. But if we say that it's not true, because it's not, it actually isn't. Like, I see people all the time that will give anything they have on their back to another person. Like, I don't mean to get emotional, but it really touched me. It really touched me when this guy, right? Now, I'm gonna get through this for you guys. I was at an event and I seen this guy hanging out, and I thought he was just hanging out. Then I seen him the next day and I said, "Hey, how you doing?" He said, "Yeah, I'm doing good." Then he was like, "Oh yeah, I feel so good that John, he let me have the tent for the night so I could sleep." So I could sleep with my little dog and my wife. It hurts. And he asked me for some money. Usually my first thing, like, I'm not gonna give somebody some money because everybody has the power to get their own. And in that state, sometimes people do not do the right thing with that. But I gave him almost everything that I had. And it impacted me so much that this guy, he walked away and he started crying. Like, I'm surprised I'm getting this emotional right now. I never do. But like, this guy was a very strong man, and he started crying. But this is the world that we're living in. There are strong people out there. Sometimes they make the wrong decisions. But everybody has the power to put themselves in the position that they're in or that they want to be. It's all dependent upon us. We don't have to participate in how the government just has us fixated on a TV screen. Every time they're gonna have an election, like it's a chessboard. Like, who's gonna win? And much doesn't change no matter who wins. Then we always end up in war. We always end up with, well, we never correct the problems that always been there. There's always been people in this planet that's been starving. I know we've seen the commercials, like with the kids saying that we need some money, like 15 cents a day. Like, we can't correct that problem. We throw away more food in a day. as much as we throw away food, within one day we can feed the whole planet. But we got to step out of that as individuals, you know? All right. Thank you guys for having me. I highly appreciate coming here, speaking to you guys, and bless you all.
Thank you.